Well, good morning, everyone. Happy week 4 to you. I can't believe that we're already coming up on the halfway mark here. These courses go so fast, these 8-week courses. I want to once again thank you for your patience related to the Writer Studio and assignment number 1. As we are moving things from Blackboard to Canvas and migrating things over, we're looking at what's working, what's not working, and I've already requested of the dean that we change the writing assignment to write in week 1, submit for revision on that Sunday of week 1, with a whole week for you to be able to revise, and then submitting the final paper on week 2. Once again, I apologize that you were stressed by it, but future cohorts hopefully will not be. I'm enjoying reading your work. Uh, Very good writing, and I should be done grading everything by Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll probably be done with the papers today, but I want to make sure I get the discussion boards done as well and feedback to you. So this week you have 3 things that you're going to be looking at, and I wanted to read you a brief clip from the first assignment, which is Why School Culture Matters and Strategies to Improve It. And I've said this again to you in here, teachers and administrators, that one of the things that I have found most important, and in the doctoral research that I'm sitting in on all the doctoral presentations right now, defenses, and the one thing that keeps coming up again and again with implementing learning management systems or implementing cooperative learning or implementing better school climate practices is teacher support. Is teacher support. And so I just wanted to read you from this article. It is important for teachers to feel supported. Teachers who feel like their administrators have their backs are genuinely happy teachers, and they are more likely to operate a productive classroom. Teachers should never question whether or not they are appreciated. Building and maintaining teacher morale is one of the most important duties a school principal plays in fostering a positive school culture. Teaching is a very difficult job, but it becomes easier when you work with a supportive administrator. I can't speak to this enough. When a teacher feels belittled or shamed, uh, it becomes very difficult for them to be able to practice their profession, their craft. And if you're in a leadership position at school where you're working with a cohort, or you're in an administrative position, or you're a leader of something that's going on campus where you have to work with multiple people, you need to come from that same place with adults that you come from with your students. You have to find that way to build community. And that goes back to looking at your own bias, your own ego, your own expectations, and finding how you can meet someone to bring out the best in them, meet them where they're at and bring out the best in them. And there was I don't know what, I don't know if it was in the New Yorker or the New York Times or CNN, I can't remember, but I was just sharing it with one of my colleagues at Concordia, because my doctoral degree is in organizational change and leadership, and a lot of people don't know that your manager, your boss, the person that you report to, they affect your mental well-being as much or more so than your mate. And so if, you want teachers working on belonging in their classroom or positive climate or community building, you have to community build with them. And there's ways to be firm and be a leader without shaming or belittling. And so it's very important that teachers feel supported. And the same with you in the MyAd program. When you have professors that you feel supported by, it helps you to move through. It doesn't mean that they can't be firm or, they can't be structured, but they need to be supportive. And so I want you to remember that. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about. So then the next read you have is creative programs to promote school pride and culture. And so that's something that you can look at your school and see, what are we doing to support all of our communities, all of our communities. And one of the things that I love about high school is that there's so many clubs and there's so many ways that we support diversity and create inclusive spaces. And we have Gay Straight Alliance, and we have Best Buddies for special needs, and we have film club and theater club and comic book club. And I ran a club for many years that I loved called Calm Club. And students would come in once a week at lunch and do calming practices. And they were a kick. They would even have like spa day. They had yoga people come in, they had meditation people come in, and it was this safe, beautiful place where adults, administrators, counselors, students all came in to have calm day. Um, and we have cultural fairs at our school. We have cultural cooking nights as fundraisers for clubs, where clubs from different backgrounds. We have a huge Cambodian population in Long Beach. So, Cambodian club makes food, and we have dancing. We do all sorts of things. And so you want to start looking at your school and seeing, how am I making this a more inclusive place? Or how are we making this a more inclusive place? What are we offering to make sure that people feel connected? And so that's something that you can easily do and easily look at and easily see right away, what are we doing? Um, I'm a big reader. I already sent you some, reader IGs, and, library displays. Is your librarian do things? They usually are doing things to create inclusive and diverse environments in the library, and that's something that you can bring to your students' attention. What's your PTA doing? Those types of things. So then you're going to be watching a video called Building a Belonging Classroom, and you're going to recognize Linda Darling Hammond, who's, a bigwig in education, is in this one, and I like what she has to say. But, belonging in classroom, once again, comes back to how you set the tone. And one of the things that I always took great pride in when I was teaching high school was the custodial staff and the tech staff always noticed that I had the nicest room. And it wasn't the nicest room in school. It was just clean and put together and organized. And I remember the custodial staff, and I'm kind of messy. I mean, you've probably seen in my office, I have a lot of things, but I'm kind of messy. But my classroom was always clean. And the custodial staff would always comment on that and thank me for that. And, that had a lot to do with belonging, because when students would first come to my class, I would talk from day one that we're a school family for a year and probably longer. We're a school family, and we have to figure out how to navigate. This is our space. This is our home for the school year, and we have to keep our home the way we want to live in it and the way we want to present it to others. And so I didn't have to be militant about cleaning. All I had to do was create this community where we were all taking pride and taking care. And so my computers were always really nice. My cart was always really nice. The classroom was always clean. And, I had 11th and 12th grade students that were bringing in coffee and food and coming in from practice with cleats and all types of things. And they were very good about keeping things organized and clean, but they were also great about picking up when they saw something out of place, or if I never controlled anything. They did it for me. So I'd be like, Fred, hey, can you plug in all the chargers for the computers today? Um, Marta, could you help Fred out? And it was just like that for each class and each day, and it just builds this sense of comfort and pride and connection. And it's really important to make sure that you call on everyone. that you call on everyone to help. And I remember a friend one time, and this is just a funny story. I remember a friend one time, and she's a very well known music therapist now. But she still has this beef from when we were in elementary school together that just makes me laugh. She was like, "Oh, Miss so and so, she always called on Jolene and she never called on me. And she was playing favorites with Jolene and I still get mad when I think about that." And here's this person who says counselor, still having this beef about something that happened in fifth or sixth grade. And I said, "Well, you don't know that she was playing favorites." She goes, "Yes, I do. She was little and cute, and I was just not that." And I was like, "No, that's probably not what it was." What I remembered about Jolene, as looking back as a teacher, is Jolene was highly personable. She talked a lot. She had something to say in every conversation. She was just like a little bird, like around the room. And I was thinking back to the teacher, and I thought, well, if I had somebody like that, I would definitely be sending them on errands and, allowing them to get that energy out. And, they like to talk to people and they're very social. So I would be sending them to do things, and it would benefit that student, but it would also benefit me if I was trying to keep things together. And she was like, "Oh, I never thought about it that way." And I'm like, "Well, yeah." So, but the thing is that we do have a tendency to just pick students that we know that they know where the office is, or we know they're competent at doing those things, but we have to give those experiences to everyone. And one of the things that I had to remind teachers in my high school, in my experience when I was doing professional development and those types of things, is that there are students that people consider trouble, consider that they're not going to be doing what they should be doing if they go out and run an errand, or uh, go to a classroom to pick something up for us or something like that. You have to send them. You have to send them. That's part of building community. Every time you rob somebody of that experience, you rob their growth, as a human being. And I'm not saying if somebody goes out and vandalizes the bathroom, and comes back, yeah, you're going to have a conversation. Yeah, there's probably going to be punishment involved. But how you react in that situation makes all the difference. And I should say act instead of react, you know. Um, when people do things for attention, they need attention. And it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive for some people, they just need attention. So then you need to look at what was going on there. Okay. And maybe you're not going to send them unsupervised somewhere again, but maybe you can stand at your door and say, "Hey, Fred, can you do me a favor? Could you just go? Miss Glows has a box of Kleenex for me that I need. She knows you're coming. Would you mind walking over there and getting that for me?" Start there. So, building, growing, creating community, it's not all or nothing. You have to keep, it's fluid, and you have to keep moving forward and figuring out and reading the temperature of the room and reading the temperature of your students. In the video, it talks about, making sure that everyone's being inclusive. That's not easy. That's not easy. You don't always know what's happening in the playground. You don't always know what happened in the bathroom. You don't always know what happened on social media. You're not always watching microaggressions and body management and facial expressions. That's part of reading the temperature of the room. And the more you do it, um, the more your students will benefit from it. And the more your colleagues and community will benefit from it as well. Okay? So, good, interesting week ahead of you. Continuing working on your group presentations with your members. Remember that you will submit the presentation to the week 4 Sunday, submit assignment, and then you'll see in week 5 that there's a non-graded DB where you will also put your presentation there. Okay, so you're not putting it in the Thursday DB for this week. When you submit on Sunday, you can go ahead and just submit it ahead of time to that week 5 non-graded DB, or you can wait till the Thursday. It's up to you. But if your presentation's done on Sunday, I would just submit it and then it's done. And then cohorts, you're going to remember to comment and look at each other's presentations as part of your overall requirement for this assignment. Okay? All right, I'm at 15 minutes. Okay, take care. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.